Welcome back to Straight Facts by Dinar Investor. Good morning, guys. I hope you like that I go as far as to post all of this unimportant news for you just so I can sneak in these little subliminal voice messages for you. Here's what I want to stress to you. I put a key thought into the previous video, and this is very important. Here's why. A lot of Iraq's news is scripted, okay? By design. So, in the last video, I put a very important clue that I'm actually looking for, and it was in regards to the formation of their government. As of the last parliamentary term, they had basically 3 steps remaining to the formation of the government. From last term, they had the education minister, they had the defense and interior minister, then they had the education minister, and then they have the removal of the proxies, and they have to get the special grades into their positions, okay? Well, as of the last parliamentary term, they completed the defense and interior ministers, so now there's 2 steps remaining for the formation of the government. Step 1 is they have to get the proxies out and get the special grades into their positions. And then the second step is to finish the education minister. What I'm looking for, hopefully around the end of October or by the end of October, is for that first step I just mentioned to be done. I want to see them get the proxies out or removed and get the special grades into their positions. Once that step happens, I'm going to share some more huge information with you guys. That's a very important step that I'm waiting to see happen, okay? You guys have a wonderful day and a great weekend. Take care.
Al Matter publishes the demands of the demonstrations. 3009 inches minus 2019 10:39 p.m. Orbit Agency, Baghdad God Orbit demands a demonstration tomorrow, Tuesday, October 1st, 2019, which will be launched. Bashtak Nazalak hacker demands are: Point 1. Declare a real war on corruption and open all the files of corruption, and with the help of specialized international bodies to issues of corruption and the enactment of the law. This. 2. Preventing the interference of political parties and blocs in government work, separating political entitlement from government positions and establishing the Federal Service Council. 3. Formation of the Construction Council, which consists of specialists to be responsible for all projects and future plans of the country. 4. Really support the private sector, protect the domestic product to eliminate unemployment, move the local economy, maintain foreign currency within the country and open the door for real domestic and foreign investments. 5. Cancellation of the currency auction and the adoption of free market policy. 6. To confine arms to the state in a genuine manner and to abolish given opportunity not more than 15 days to start the implementation of the above, or else the ceiling of our demands next time will be higher and bigger. Special Security Force secures the transfer of funds from the Green Zone. Korkemsh Press Baghdad. A specialized security force escorted trucks transporting money from the Green Zone to an unknown location, a security source said Wednesday. The source told Korkemsh Press that 12 money trucks exited just before the Green Zone to protect a large security force. He continued, "It is not known the nature of the money transferred and its return and where it is destined." The source believed that the unstable security situation was the reason for the transfer of funds from the Green Zone. This came after mass demonstrations in the capital Baghdad and some of the southern provinces. Al-Hurra, October 3rd. Iraqi Prime Minister to the demonstrators: your demands for reform and our link. Iraqi Prime Minister Adil Abdul Mahdi said early on Friday that Iraqis are facing the choices of the state and the state. "We have had great experiences until we have reached a democratic march. We want to serve and work sincerely," Abdul Mahdi said in a televised address to the Iraqi people. The Iraqi Prime Minister called on the demonstrators not to pay attention to the advocates of despair and calls to return back, pointing out that some slogans raised revealed attempts to ride the demonstrations and waste, and that the escalation of the demonstration is now leading to losses and injuries. Abdul Mahdi vowed that his government will not promise empty promises or offer solutions, stressing the need to restore life to the provinces and respect for the rule of law, and pointed out that security options such as curfews are indispensable as bitter medicine. Abdul Mahdi called on the House of Representatives to make ministerial amendments away from political quotas, and said, "We agreed with the Council of the Judiciary to release detainees who did not commit criminal acts, and express regret for the success of some in derailing the demonstrations on the peaceful path." Speech of Iraqi Prime Minister Adil Abdul Mahdi. Your demands for reform and the fight against corruption are our link, He told the demonstrators, "Hold us accountable for everything we can do in the immediate term, and there are no magic solutions." He added that unemployment did not make it in the destroyed infrastructure we inherited, and that the interests of the government began to distribute land to the deserving segments of the people. "Those who think that they are far from being held accountable are wrong, and we are sticking to the Constitution," he said. Today the bloodiest. Thursday was the deadliest since the start of Tuesday's protests, which killed at least 30 people during unprecedented violent clashes between protesters and security forces. From Baghdad, demonstrations demanding the departure of corrupt and job opportunities for young people extended to most southern cities. Special forces armored vehicles in Baghdad intervened to repel the crowds, while security forces on the ground fired live bullets that bounced back at demonstrators. "We are continuing until the overthrow of the regime," said protester Ali, a 22-year-old unemployed graduate. "I am out of work. I want to get married. I have only 250 dinars, less than $0.25, in my pocket, and state officials have millions," he said, in a country that ranks 12 on the world's most corrupt list, according to Transparency International. Abu Jafar, a retired al-Shabaab, whose head was conquered, said, "I support young people. Why are the police shooting Iraqis like them? They are like us, oppressed. They have to help us and protect us." To date, this movement seems to be spontaneous. No political or religious party or leader has declared its support, in what is considered a precedent in Iraq. With 30 people killed, including 2 policemen, 18 of them in the southern province of Dhaka alone, the movement turned Thursday into a battle in Baghdad on several axes leading to Tahrir Square, the symbolic central gathering point of the demonstrators. The demonstrators arrived in Baghdad on trucks, carrying the flags of Iraq and religious ones with the names of the infallible Shiite imams, and the demonstrators chanted several slogans, including "In the spirit of blood we redeem you, Iraq." In the face of them, riot police and the army formed human rings around the ministries, especially the Ministry of Oil. In Al-Tahran Square in central Baghdad, demonstrators pounded 2 military vehicles and set them on fire, according to AFP. On Thursday, security forces again fired live ammunition to disperse demonstrators despite a curfew that came into effect at dawn. Friday will be an important political test for the Prime Minister, with the sermon expected to be delivered by Grand Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani, whose opinion is crucial on a wide range of Iraqi political issues. As the movement seems to be spontaneous, Shiite leader Muqtada al-Sadr decided to put his weight on the balance of the protests, calling on his supporters, who paralyzed the country's joints in 2016 with protests in the capital, to organize peaceful sit-ins and general strike, raising fears of increased mobilization in the street. Elsewhere in the capital and in several cities, protesters continue to block roads or light tires in front of official buildings in Najaf or Nasiriyah in the south. Excessive force. The government, which accused aggressors and Mendes of deliberately causing casualties among demonstrators, appears to have made a firm choice. In a statement, Amnesty International called on Baghdad to immediately order the security forces to cease the use of force, including lethal excessive force, and restore contacts. There was a massive internet outage in Iraq, which reached about 75% on Thursday, according to a specialized organization. Protesters in Baghdad sought to head to Tahrir Square, which is separated from the green zone by Jamhuriyah Bridge, where security forces have been tightened since Tuesday. The protests hit several provinces in the south of the country, such as the oil city of Basra, which witnessed last year bloody protests. However, the movements did not extend to the western and northern provinces, especially the sunny areas devastated by the war against ISIS and the autonomous Kurdistan region of Iraq. War-weary Iraq has suffered chronic power cuts and drinking water for years. Official reports indicate that since the fall of Saddam Hussein's regime in 2003, about $450 billion of public funds have disappeared, 4 times the state budget, and more than double Iraq's GDP. Sistani calls on 3 authorities to reform real and holds Parliament a greater responsibility, posted by Walter October 4, 2019. Politics. Sistani. Demonstrations Iraq. The 4th of October 2019, 4 hours, 42 minutes, and 48 seconds. AA+. The office of Iraq's top cleric, Ali al-Sistani, called on the 3 authorities in Iraq to take steps leading to real reform, 4 days after bloody protests in Iraq. The representative of the Marjah Ahmad al-Safi read the statement of Sistani's office in the Friday sermon in Karbala, stressing that there have been unacceptable and condemned attacks on demonstrators, associates and property in Baghdad and a number of provinces. The government institutions are in painful and unfortunate scenes similar to what happened in some previous years. He added, the religious authority has always demanded that the authorities and parties that hold the reins of power to change their approach to the problems of the country and to take serious steps towards reform and combating corruption and bypassing quotas and patronage of the state administration, and warn those who are reluctant to reform and abetting that the claims will be relaxed. Claims that East will return much stronger and wider. He added, The reference calls on the three authorities to clear practical steps for real reform, and stresses that the House of Representatives, with its legislative powers, bear the greatest responsibility in this area. Unless the large parliamentary blocks from which the government emerged from its approach and did not respond to the reform requirements in a real way, nothing will be achieved on the ground. The judiciary and the oversight bodies have a major responsibility in fighting corruption, prosecuting corrupt people and recovering the people's money from them, but they have not done what was necessary in this regard, he said. Al-Safi added, the government should fulfill its duties and do its utmost to alleviate the suffering of citizens by improving public services, providing job opportunities for the unemployed and staying away from favoritism in government appointments. It should complement the files of defendants to manipulate public funds and acquire them in preparation for bringing them to justice.